Thank you so much for your time. From your perspective, what is now happening to U.S. citizens at the border when they try to re-enter after leaving the country, and how has that changed from what was done in the past?
So from what I'm seeing on my side, I'm seeing more residents that are getting detained and questioned coming
Okay.
back into the United States. I personally have not heard from U.S. citizens who are getting detained
Okay.
or having issues, but there have been issues of U.S. citizens getting detained if they're traveling with someone who's on a visa or someone who's a resident, or they may have people living with them in the United States that are undocumented. So right now,
Bro, isn't it crazy? You guys see this? Like right here? Enhanced vetting. What does that mean, bro? That's like a corporate word for like covering up like, hey, I'm suspicious of someone that has legally existed here in the country for years and years, and they're traveling with the US citizen and they're coming back from a country that we don't have any problems with, but we need to make sure. We need to enhance our regular vetting process. This is crazy.
now there is just a more extreme vetting process where you're seeing incidents where if a U.S. citizen is married to someone who's undocumented, they're living in that household, that can cause concern for DHS and Border Patrol now. So they're looking at everything now.
Okay, so you're saying it's happening more to residents. Is this happening to all residents trying to re-enter? Kind of what is the determining factor?
So they're looking to see if there's anything in the system that raises any flags. Tons of travel history, if there's any criminal history, family ties to the United States, how often they're going abroad, what countries they're going to. We're starting to see a rise in the vetting process with residents coming in who are in and out of the country so much where Border Patrol has to stop and count how much time they're spending outside the country to make sure they're maintaining their ties to the United States, and whether or not they're still admissible if they're trying to relinquish their residency status.
So what is your advice to residents or even potentially citizens who are traveling abroad upon their return?
If you're a clean record, if everything is fine, you don't have any issues. You shouldn't have any issues. If you are traveling abroad and there's a chance that you're going to be out of the country for more than 6 months as a resident, make sure you file for that permit to come back into the United States. If you have some sort of criminal history, get checked, speak to an attorney in your area and discuss what the options are. Make sure you're what's considered admissible back into the United States, because even if it's a gray area right now, they're going to detain you and let DHS figure out that gray area. So the best advice I can give is just know that they can go through your phone. They can go through
Did y'all hear that? So essentially, when he said DHS, so Department of Homeland Security, when they have to figure out a gray area, that means that it's a case by case basis, and there's no written down policy to handle these types of situations. So they can they can base off of someone's own prejudice. So it could literally change from human to human. So you can get someone that has no prejudice towards X, Y, and Z nationalities, and then that person shifts to another person that says, oh my gosh, these people, I got to check everybody from this country or that looks like they're from this particular country because of my bias already. So it literally depends on which border agent you get and your result from that. So they may deny you somehow or violate your rights somehow. And it's absolutely insane, man. If you're a U.S. citizen, they can't deny you coming back into the U.S., but they can sure search all your man.
emails. They can look at everything and see what you have going on. So just use caution.
And so you say they can go through your phone, they can go through your emails. Do people have any recourse there? What is your advice when it comes to that? Because I've heard of some people saying they're just deleting out apps, they're clearing out all of their text messages. Would you advise that?
You can if you want. I mean, it's the U.S. government. You have to assume they always know more than you think they know. But to be fair, checking texts and emails and WhatsApp messages, ICE and the border have done that for years. That is
Yeah,
not
that's
something
true.
new.
Yeah.
There's been cases for years where they check people to see if they're working illegally in the United States, or if they're coming in under false pretenses. Maybe they're coming in on a visa, but they're actually coming here to get married and stay. They just didn't want to go through the longer routes. So that has been happening for some time. Just right now, it's being heightened and it's under a microscope because it's happening so much more often.
You know, and in the intro to this, you know, we talked about, you know, these high-profile cases of detentions, particularly when it comes to these university and college students. What more can you tell us?
I think they're done talking about so this next one here, this one's a little bit shorter. Damn, 34 seconds. It's a speed round. So it's basically from USA Today. Can Border Patrol go through your phone? Simply yes is the answer, but I'll be damned, bro, if I'll be shocked. But like, what, you want to see my phone? Like me? Bro, I'm a citizen of the US and I have residency in a different country. Like, bro, I'm a citizen. Like, let me through. I'm gonna read this. So U.S. Customs and Border Protection officers can go through your phone, including any deleted items on the device. So, guys, with certain phones like iPhones, for example, when you delete like photos, text messages, literally anything, it goes into a folder called deleted items, and it does take a certain time period for these items to actually self-delete. And they're saying that Border Patrol can go through that stuff. I didn't know that part. I know they can go through the stuff that's there. Okay, this is what they're not allowed to do. Officers are not allowed to go through your work email or whatever may be stored in cloud servers, according to Suzanne. Okay. A senior counsel at Harder Secrets and Emery. Okay, so that's a law firm. An immigration law. Okay, yeah. The Fourth Amendment protects against unreasonable search and seizures. We know that, right? But the line gets blurred within 100 miles of international borders. Interesting. At any port of entry, all of these searches are considered a reasonable search, so no warrant is required.
Bruh.
Whew. Yo, these are the gray areas that they're talking about in these news stories, and it's shocking, bro. It's shocking and it's scary because even if you're a U.S. citizen, all of those searches are reasonable searches. So they can go through your phone, but you can just say like, yo, that's my work email. You can't go through that, bro. And I don't even think they would care. They would still go through it. But this is insane. But they've been doing this for years, as the previous newscaster said. So it's only now that things have kind of been bubbling up with this current administration, where things are getting pushed out in the media negatively. But they've been doing this for years under different administrations. So keep that in mind as well. Oh, that's it. That's it. Okay. One last video. A couple minutes. This guy is hilarious.
So now NBC5 responds. We're looking into your rights whenever you travel out of the United States and then back in at the border after a French scientist was denied entry into the United States earlier this month.
NBC5 responds. PJ Rendawa is here to explain what U.S. Customs and Border Protection officers are actually entitled to do. PJ?
Yeah, the answer may surprise you. We started looking into this after the French government claimed the scientist's phone contained messages opposing the Trump administration.
Ooh.
Bruh.
Hey, yo. Nah, you can't do that, bro. You can't have like messages in your phone like that and you go into the country. But it's kind of like low key. There are a lot of countries actually out there that have rules in place where you cannot criticize the government. So say, for instance, like countries like Thailand have this rule in place where you cannot criticize the king or the royal family of Thailand at all. Like, you will be arrested. But I didn't know that are we starting to implement that same rule for a president? That's crazy, bro.
Government claimed the scientist's phone contained messages opposing the Trump administration. U.S. authorities say that isn't true, but the scientist was supposed to attend a conference in Texas when he was turned away. The Assistant Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security, Tricia McLaughlin, posted on X the French researcher in question was in possession of confidential information on his electronic device from Los Alamos National Laboratory.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the funny thing is that I actually just started watching Oppenheimer yesterday, and Los Alamos is a laboratory where they actually experiment with a lot of nuclear, atomic bombs, and atom bombs, right? So this is a very sensitive location, but if he's coming into the country, how in the hell did he get that information from Los Alamos if he wasn't even he's coming into the US? So how was he able to get in possession of that information? So, I mean, if I was a Border Patrol officer, I don't know how they figured out that this guy may be someone to question or to enhance the vetting process. But this is interesting.
In violation of a non-disclosure agreement, something he admitted to taking without permission and attempted to conceal.
Oh, bro, what? No, he did it to himself.
He claimed that his removal was based on political beliefs is blatantly false. According to U.S. Customs and Border Protection, CBP officers may search a traveler's mobile phone, computer, camera, or other electronics on rare occasions. It says in fiscal year 2024, just over 47,000 people had their electronic devices searched at a point of entry into the...
Damn, 47,000?
Bruh.
In 1 year? Yo, that's crazy. But I mean, that's staggering as a number, but as a percentage, 0.3%. Okay, that's not much.
The U.S. According to U.S. Customs and Border Protection, when an international traveler is going through customs, they can be referred for a secondary inspection with or without any suspicion of wrongdoing. At that point,
then you're leaving it up to someone's already pre-established biases against people that look different than them.
Their electronic devices may be searched. The search does not include items stored on the cloud.
So they can't hack the cloud, y'all.
Very interesting. So this is mostly international, not somebody coming to mess if you're flying as an American citizen back into the U.S. This has not been an issue.
I think it is anywhere where Customs and Border Patrol are allowing people into the country.
So that would include Americans.
That includes them.
Because this was a French citizen who was dealing with this, correct?
Yes, that's right. Yeah, and so when it comes to citizens re-entering the country, the same rules do apply. Customs Border Patrol say all travelers, regardless of citizenship, are subject to inspection. And again, this includes electronic devices. So just some.
Even U.S. citizens is fucking crazy. What is going on, bro? This is why when I travel abroad, sometimes I'm like, should I even go back, take this return flight? Should I just miss my flight and just never come back? Low key what I did when I went to Mexico a couple years ago.
To prepare for and know your rights.
That is really interesting, yeah.
Bruh, how do we know our rights if there are no rights? Bro, oh yeah, everything's in the cloud, bro. Good luck. That's it. That's the only right that we have, according to these news stations here, bro. So I'm gonna turn it over to you guys, right? I'll turn it over to you guys, and in the comments section, I want you guys to just vent your feelings. Like, how do you feel about this situation here? Do you think that everyone should be subject to search when they do happen to come back into the U.S.? including American citizens? Well, I'm gonna let you guys be the judge. I'll say my piece. I honestly think that U.S. citizens shouldn't be searched, but I can kind of understand where they're coming from when it comes to people that may have sensitive information that pertains to the USA. But how do you know that, right? So you rely on people's biases, their own personal pre-established biases to stop people and enhance the vetting of that person coming back into the US. So I get it on both sides. America's supposed to be land of the free, but on the other hand, you got to protect it. You got to protect the country's security, and with security comes with some type of additional control. So that kind of negates the freedom aspect of the US. So I do want to keep our country safe, and I love that, but you know, it comes at a cost, man. Living in this country sometimes, and this is just one of the times where it is coming at a cost, where you do have to give up some of your civil liberties for security for the country. So I get it, but let me know what you guys think, man.